I want to analyze what makes a game actually feel good, what aesthetic choices you can make to make the game pop. And this is kind of an exploration I'm doing for my own game because I'm trying to discover like what is the visual aesthetic I want and what can I do? What can I learn from other games out there to make sure that I don't screw this up and shoot myself in the foot in a number of ways, which is you could there's all kinds of ways you can screw this up. So this is some drafts I have of different characters. I have like you can see I wasn't happy with I'm having issues with the lower torso here. I don't really know what to do about it. I'm trying to do walk cycles and stuff, and it's getting there. I need to hone my skill a bit. I have, you know, I'm getting the hang of it, I think, but it's a long process. Like animation is hard, pixel art is hard. It's going to take me a while to get there, but I'm practicing as I go and really looking at different aesthetic choices I could make. The idea of this character is that it's a squirrel piloting this suit, this guy here. Um, but I wanted to look at some other games and talk about this, and then I'll go in and try to do an attack animation for this character. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was this game called Despot. What's it called? Despot's Game. So what I was doing is looking around, like, what is the pixel art I can find that I find the most aesthetically pleasing? What do I think looks best? And for me, I think the pixel art in Despot's Game is like exceptionally good. You can look at the animations are incredibly well done. I like all of these design choices, like the selective outlines you have. If you really zero if you really zero in here, like on this character. And by the way, I like you can tell I didn't get the right sprite sheet. I just kind of stole this from. I did what I could to get this in frame by frame, and you kind of have to imagine that the pixels aren't messed up. But you can see here like really clean choices being made about like how the body rotates, how the light changes. It just looks really, really good at least in my opinion. This is like top notch art style and animation. So you'd think like, okay, cool. Well, there you go. Do that. Do something like that. Well, first of all, the problem is if you look at the quality of like this character compared to this character, like it's a it's not on the same level. Obviously, this is like much better than what I'm able to do at the moment. Um, Not to say I couldn't get there, but I'm not there yet. And especially these really minute animation things that are being done are that takes a lot of experience, and it's going to take me a while to get to that level. But more importantly, do I even need to hit that? Do I need to do that? Is it worth it to animate all of my sprites at this quality and to draw them with this level of detail? Because if we look at a game like Brotato, um, I don't think Brotato actually. I don't like anything about the graphics of this game. Like I don't think it looks like nothing is egregiously bad, but it's not an appealing aesthetic to me. Like what is this? It looks like a Flash. Like it has those like thick outlines like a Flash game. So like if you showed me this kind of screenshot, like if you just showed me like let's grab a if you showed me this and said, "Does this look like a game you'd want to play?" I'd say, I don't know. Maybe if I've played a lot of survivors like games that I know I like, it would I'd be like, oh, it looks like a game I like, so yeah. But just in from no context, based alone on the art style and the aesthetic choices, is this a game you'd want to play? I'd be like, no, not really. But when you see it in motion, it kind of changes. Like, oh well, yeah, that actually looks kind of cool, and it's nothing. It's not the animations, right? Like, look at the animations are just the walk cycles are actually incredibly lazy. They're just the characters are just getting motion tweened. Like they're not even there's not even being redrawn. They're just being post processing, like stretched a little bit in this way that makes it look like they're moving. And the weapons, for example, just kind of do rotations. They're drawn one time and they just rotate in post processing and go out. They just do this and stuff like that. So nothing here really actually looks good to me, and yet the full aesthetic together makes it look like, hey, I want to play that. And I've played this game a lot. It's really fun. I love it. And once you start playing, you don't really I completely forget that I don't particularly like the art style. And you know, there's quite a few things being done here that are subtle that you don't really notice until you start trying to do this kind of thing. Where, like, for example, green is only used for things that you want to pick up. Everything is really desaturated. Your weapons are always outlined with like blue, so you have like this really clear visual language that's telling you, hey, there's a green X, you might want to go here. Your health bars are in red. Those red X's tell you an enemy's about to come. You just saw that one guy was like selectively outlined. I don't remember what a purple outline means, but he was. And then all the equipment or the loot that you get is green. So that's an example. And then actually I want to show you Despot's game because it doesn't, like I said, I think this is the best pixel art I've ever seen. But when I look at the game, it just doesn't look like something I want to play. And I'll have the sound on because
going hard.
I'm gonna have the sound on because I want you. Actually, the sound is an important element. Like we can hear the sound on Brotato briefly.
Look at that ball. I don't like
Okay, we can't hear the sound because actually the guy's talking too loud. Probably the case here too.
They're living. They're living. We did it. Nobody died. Okay.
So something about the way this game moves is just not appealing, and I'll let it keep. I'll keep it running with the sound off, but you could hear like those chainsaw sounds. Nothing feels like it has any impact. The animations are all great. The explosions look cool, but nothing. Every time somebody gets hit, there's no real impact. Like, you have these great animations, and you can see like the animations are really top notch and everything. These little characters all have a ton of personality. The enemies look great, but you'll notice when the combat actually happens, like, it just doesn't look very cool. Like, and it's really hard to put your finger on what doesn't look. Let me try to get it better. And that's part of the problem too. The combat is so short. Like, it's over in an instant, and you're not even really able to look at these animations. Everything is just happening incredibly quickly. It's over, and then you're just seeing these neutral animations for most of the gameplay and this boring background. Can I get another combat? And that's the other thing I noticed is like most of the game is just shopping. There's very little like, you can see I'm trying to find a battle and I can't. Okay, there's one. Like, look at these enemies are great, but there's no feeling of impact when this attack hits. There's no feeling of impact when the player's characters hit this thing. It's just the health goes down and that's it. And the sound doesn't help, and there's just no punch at all in it. The lesson I learned from this is like, okay, well, you know, I could have the best pixel art and animation there is, and I can just botch it by not making the game move good. And that's excuse me. And like, making the game move good, that's a very vague thing to say, right? Like, what does that even mean? But it's something quantifiable in a way that you can just kind of look and see, like, yeah, this doesn't look like something I want to play, even though it's the best pixel art I've seen. Whereas this is, some of the least appealing art I can imagine. And as soon as I see it in motion,
And this
I'd
guy,
rather play this than this. Um, Here's another example. If I look at this pixel art, well, specifically, if I were to see like this character or this character or maybe this character on its own background removed from the full context of the game, I would say, oh, that's really cool art. I like that style a lot. And even this screenshot, you can say, well, this looks kind of cool. But with this game, when you see the actual game loop, this is not something I want to play. It's actually, the problem is everything is oversaturated. There's no outlines on anything, which that's an aesthetic choice you can make, and I'm not convinced. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but no outlines. Like if you're gonna no outline it, you cannot have. And you can see like they tried to flatten the background here, but you have these like there's just shit all over the screen, and this doesn't look like something. It looks like something that gives me a headache, even though I think the actual art, the pixel art, is very well done. And how good is the animation? The animation's like reasonably good, but it's just not. It just doesn't look good. Again, like it's just crazy how that can happen. Like great character portrait style here, and it just doesn't look like something I'm gonna play. Another example, Vampire Survivors. I think the programmer just got an asset pack and mixed a bunch of asset packs together, and yet this game looks great too when it moves. And
old couch in the garbage
the
room.
the sound, like it has this like slot machine sound that really makes it pop. And
honestly, I think we have some kind of like.
this is the best example of this just looks like shit, but in motion, it's really fun. The game just moves good, and it's satisfying and fun. So I'm trying to keep this kind of stuff in mind and think about like realistically. I don't think I need maybe like I don't think I need to hit this level of art quality at all. I don't think that's going to make the game. I don't think, and honestly, this is probably too much. This is like, I mean, first of all, this doesn't even look that good. You can. I think when I look at it, like, I have a few I still could never figure out what to do with his lower torso. I think the feet were too big, so I was attempting on this one to redo the feet, and that maybe looks better, but then I still don't know what to do with the lower torso. Maybe this is okay. Like I think it's kind of a bit Mega Man-esque. You could have some characters that are a little bit bigger, and that's kind of why I had this like lineup. Where did I have that lineup? This lineup. This is the player character. My brother did this one. I did these two. He did this one. And I think this is actually really nice. Like I like this level of detail. It looks good. Oh, I have my palette closed. And the other thing was color palettes. I was trying to use this one, which I deleted it. Damn it. It's called Resurrect 64. I'll just Google it. Color palettes are one thing you can do to get some cool visuals forced in there. And this is a 64 color palette that I was using for all of these sprites. I find that it's not quite limited enough. I think you can notice it's gives you a lot of options in like brown and orange and kind of different green. There's a lot of different greens. You'll notice there's no actual yellow. So there is a certain types of limitations. And due to this palette, I got some interesting, like one example of a palette being interesting. And I had a different night. I don't think I have it easily available here, but I had a different version of the night on a different palette that I think actually looks better because the palette was more limited. But a limited palette can give you these kind of choices like here, that actually looks cool. Like I wouldn't, if you had all the colors available, you wouldn't do this. But then when you're kind of forced into some decisions, you do it highlight color that's a high contrast and it looks nice. So I'm skeptical of this palette. I don't really want to stick with it. It doesn't feel like it limits me enough. Um, and a more limited palette can do like a quick. It can give the game a solid stylization that you don't have to work too hard to achieve. What I did like about the palette though is we got a lot of orange in, and it has a kind of fall vibe to it, like, and that's kind of what made me do the squirrel thing and the antlers, and all the wood colors have a nice like richness to them, and that can create a kind of aesthetic that is nice. But ultimately, I'm not sold on this palette. So I'll just like work on this. I'm gonna try to do an attack animation here. And like this walk cycle, by the way, like why is her arm like that? Well, I haven't, yeah, like I haven't fixed the bow yet. But the idea is if she's running with the bow, she's not gonna, her arm's not gonna go like this if she's holding a bow. It's gonna be more weighed down. So that's why her arm, like it doesn't look right without the bow in there. But I tried to get like the shoulder rotation, and I think I did really good on this background arm. I've got the some of the skirt movement going, which I think looks okay. The scarf looks okay. I'm still gonna do her hair. I haven't done that yet, but I might give her like a bun. Like if I do like she has like a bun here, and then I don't have to move as much hair. I think basically it's like a design choice for the animation, because if all of the hair is moving wildly and the scarf is moving, it just, there might just be too much going on as she's running. Whereas if I have like fewer hair movement, it will help like look, it will just look better aesthetically, I think maybe. Um, so let's try to work on a firing animation. And what I'm going to do is I've been really struggling for references, honestly, like archer shooting a bow. And I've noticed when people actually use these medieval bows, there's a really weird thing that they do that I'm not going to try to get across, where you kind of like it looks like you're dry heaving or something. I don't know how better to explain it. But at the same time, I don't really want this incredibly static. This is kind of a good example of where your chest goes over and stuff like that. But what I don't want are these really straight static poses, because it's gonna be difficult to get like. But what, we can learn things like the arm, like this is from the side too, and I want 3/4 view, which is always harder to find references of. This is close to 3/4 view here, so we can see like some, there's a slight up angle on the elbow here. This is going down. This is like, you have, this shoulder is a little bit lower. Like this is all helpful to look at as a reference. I'll keep that one open, but obviously I don't want it to, the string on her face pressing her nose in and shit like that. Like we don't need that. This is like 3/4 view. This is a good 3/4 view. And then this is, we can see here the similarity between the elbows here. And very, very similar here. But this gives us, yeah, we can see like really big. Actually, I don't even remember opening this one, but I think I clicked this and got a different image, it looks like. So we have here like three almost identical. Unfortunately, we don't see the feet. And maybe the feet is where I'm just going to have to use some creative license, because this, again, like this looks really static to me. And obviously the feet should be kind of static. I asked ChatGPT to generate some reference. It couldn't figure out 3/4 view for some reason. But I actually thought this looked cool, going on the knees to fire. But I think it doesn't really make sense. Maybe like if every time my character is firing, she goes down to her knees for some reason, it's kind of nonsensical. Maybe. Um, but it does look cool, doesn't it? Maybe for like a special move, she can like charge up on her knees or something. I don't know. Um, so, and I think this arm is a little bit too long still on this run cycle. Like, it probably should be a tad shorter. I'm not sure. Okay. So what I'm going to do is keyframe this though. I'm going to start off with like, and I had this pose is probably closer to the firing pose than what I have animated, which is annoying because this isn't layered. I don't have all the layers on here. I'm going to just create a new. I'll create a new frame here. So what you can do in Aseprite is like you can select this and say tag and call it run, and then like if I play this, it will not go to the 9th frame, and then I can call this like attack or whatever. But let's see. Let's just paste in the other character so we have a ref. I think I'm probably going to end up like painting over here to get the blocked in. Oops. Did that not? We have to do paste merged or whatever, or copy merged. And I probably need to just make a new frame here because it's gonna overwrite it when I paste merged. What? Okay. So this kind of feet positioning is probably not extreme enough. But you'll notice like on these run animations, whoops, I have her body like tilted forward because she's running, whereas here she's standing upright. So this is probably where what my starting point is going to be like here. Why do I? Okay, we'll just delete that. Okay, and this line is my like 3/4 reference line to know like how you're pointing, if that makes sense. What is straight for the character. Okay. So I'll take the hair and the head. This is all kind of like tedious to do, but I'm gonna do it. And I'm just gonna kind of bring it up like this and just try to get back what I have here without um I'm probably just gonna redraw the body again. I'm not, and then the scarf. Honestly, why am I doing it this way? Let's just like we have the layers. Let's just delete what we have here, and then layer up this. Whoops! Don't delete that one though. So okay, that's hair, I guess. And I guess with the walk cycle, I really did need to separate everything out so much, but with the attack animation, I don't think I need to separate every layer so explicitly. Okay, so this is hair head. I guess we'll just put hair on this one. And then I guess I should have pasted this without the background. Let's just do that. And I'll take, do I want, I'll get the scarf out of there. Let's just select it properly. You know, when I draw in like Photoshop or something, I don't really use layers like obsessively like this. And when I started doing pixel art again, I was like, again, I was pretty much not using layers very much, but specifically for pixel art and animation, you really want to use the layers. Like it's just, it becomes such a mess if you don't use them, and you it does require a tedious amount of upkeep to keep them on. Oh no, I didn't do that right. Where did I paste that? And this is what I mean by tedious amount of upkeep, like making sure you paste everything onto the right layer on the right frame, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Okay. And like the bow, I think for the bow, I can just paste this other bow because it's not at a different angle. I mostly just need to get like the body and the arms separated, which is gonna take a little bit of work. I'll just do the body first. Oops. Maybe I'll just take the whole thing. I should have cut the shadow off too. I'm not going to be messing with that until the end. Because that counts as body. Yeah. Okay. Copy that. No, copy that. Body. We missed 1 pixel. Okay. So I'll just chop the legs here. Like this is the right leg. And I'll do the feet and legs together. Like I haven't done any attack animations yet. I've been doing a lot of walk cycles is mostly what I've been doing. And that really requires a ton of movement. I'm probably gonna realize as I do this that this also requires a ton of movement, but I'm trying to tell myself that it maybe won't. Okay. Yeah. Left leg. And part of, like why is her hair red? It's because of the palette. Like there's I could have her she could have dark hair, I guess, but it's like this palette is kind of pushing us toward giving characters red hair, it feels like, which is I don't have anything against red hair, but it's just one of those things like um with that palette that I'm not convinced I like it. Okay, we've copied. Let's just cut it instead of copy it. Left leg. All right. Somehow I chopped the bow up, it looks like. Let's just like paint over the bow right now and then I'll paste it in. And one thing I'm really unsure about is her costuming. Like I don't know if I really want I was looking at Chrono Trigger a lot when I made this sprite, specifically looking at Luca, the way she held her weapon and stuff like that. And what I noticed on a lot of those older games is if you really look at their clothing, it's almost just like arbitrarily throwing different colors in and giving you this like abstract feeling of like, yeah, they're like use your brain kind of fills in what that would be. Almost like I don't even know what it is, but your brain will fill it in for you. But it's kind of lazy, but yeah, I don't know. I think it looks okay-ish. Maybe like this should be over more. We just have like this line to give the feeling of, you can see the difference. This looks better, doesn't it? Anyway, we're not worrying about that right now. Okay. So let's copy the bow and I'm not even gonna, well, I guess I do need the string right now. Frankly, I do, yeah. Okay, so we'll take this bow, paste it into bow. And so this will be I'm not convinced that this will be the first frame of the animation. Like, if you imagine she's in her running pose, then she has to stand up to get ready to fire. I think this is a totally reasonably good pose for that. Her leg is starting to move back. Looking at the references again, which are not help. The leg is the part where I'm just not sure what to do, because I feel like a real bow, like as best I can tell, when you're firing a bow, you just kind of stand there very statically with your legs, and nothing too much is happening there. So, maybe what that can let me do is just attempt it without too much leg movement, do some really small leg movement, and try to make everything else more dynamic. Okay. So let's do some keyframing. I'm going to go, and I've been thinking about this a lot, like, how am I going to do this? But thinking and doing are different. So the first thing I want to have happen is she needs to point this thing straight. So this bow is not going to be like that. We cannot just rotate it. We have to redraw it. But we want to try to keep like the pixels about the same, if that makes sense. So like that becomes that. This is going to be like this now. And I think I can just do it straight diagonal like that. It will look fine like that. And then this just goes out with like that kind of flare on it. That looks a little bit taller than it actually is. Somehow it looks like it's not balanced, but I think it is. Yeah, it's a little bit taller. Maybe I need to take this down one. Yeah, that looks good. Something still looks off to me. Maybe I am just so used to seeing it at the other angle. Okay, I'm not going to draw the bow. The bowstring is like 50% transparency white, so you can't even actually see it right now. Let me change the background color here maybe a little bit to like something like that. You can see the string there now. I'll take it off though. I am going to be drawing the string though, so I think I'll need it eventually, but it's kind of better to do that second maybe. It looks like I actually copied the string from the body, so I need to just go over that here. Just erase those things, or like color over the string right there. Okay. Well, know what layer is that on? And this is what I mean about tedious layer management. And you're like, all right, there's a pixel hiding. I can't figure out what layer it's on. Jesus, where is it? It's really annoying. What? Scarf. Okay. No? Yes, but I didn't click the right layer. Okay. What? Oh, dude, there's another one. There. Okay. Gotcha. No, it's like on every single layer possible. All right. Good to know. We'll just go down the rows and erase it until it's gone. It's never going to go away. All right. We'll just leave it there for now. I don't know what's causing it. So so we got the bow better like this. Now her arms are going to need to go out more. And here's where we need these references. Yeah. So definitely, and actually, if I really want to do this, one way we might want more perspective on the bow. This is a sideways bow. We might actually want to force some perspective, but at the same time, like the way the game actually works is she's just going to be like she's going to be shooting stuff from any direction. Like it might just look okay to do it like this. Let me try it. And actually, the bow is not gonna. Yeah, let's try some stuff to see if I can get it. And it will help a lot when I'm using all the values available to get that perspective to look better. But what we can do is make it a little bit thicker at the front, like until the edges, and then at the edges it starts getting thinner. Like that, I guess. I don't like that corner right there though. Maybe that's not right. Yeah, it's not symmetrical. What am I doing here? That's symmetrical now. Hmm. Could I make this even thicker here? Probably not. I don't think so. Like, I guess one thing I could do is you see how this tapers in. I could try doing that. I don't really, that looks okay. Like, ultimately, her hand is probably going to be covering that anyway. It looks okay, but it's not like quite right either. And actually, like, it's not, it's too high, right? Like, it's not, yeah. I think we have an uneven number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have an even number, so that's not good for that purpose. Um, yeah, there's like no way to make that balance unless I make it a little bit taller. I'm thinking I don't want too much perspective, honestly. Maybe just making this a little bit thicker, and then I can imply a little bit more perspective in the way that I shade it when I do render it, is probably the way to go. Okay. So now we want to do her right arm. I'll do her right arm first. That's like the most dynamic. Well, I guess that's kind of like, but that looks more dynamic, I guess. Okay. So right arm, right now we don't have a right arm, so I'll just erase her right arm on her body. Hmm. I could just, I think I'm gonna take this part of her arm. I might be able to reuse that somewhat. Probably not too much, but some. Somehow I missed a bunch of pixels. Okay, that's just, all right, we won't use the lasso tool. Normally I wouldn't, dude, normally I wouldn't bother doing this, but it's like I need to get rid of this anyway. So I might as well like paste it into another layer and work on it. If I might just throw it out, but whatever. So put that into right arm, move it over here for now. Um, I'll draw her body back so I can just have the body to work with here. Just cute little, you know, I'm I told myself I was gonna do the non-rendered stuff here, and because when you try to animate, like this is a mistake I made with this walk cycle where getting I kept just making design changes to the actual rendering after I animated it. I just had to it just took forever. So really what I should do is just color this all one color and not worry about the rendering at all. Um, I'm gonna risk it and just not, because it's at this point it actually takes more work to over color over it. So maybe I'm not gonna bother with that right now. Okay. So we have this. You can see this, actually the way this looks is the right angle already. right? Like this is actually the forearm angle specifically, but I just move it up here. And that might actually help with the animation some. Maybe I'll tweak it a little bit, but I think I can just do it like this. Would this go over her hair? Yes. So let's move that layer up. Okay. So something like that. The elbow is like just below eye level. I'll make it go a little bit higher like that just to really push the dynamic feeling of it or whatever. I'll use this darker color for this elbow. And the elbow would definitely cover the scarf. We already have the layers correct there. So I think I just do this and connect it. That's reasonable. Like technically that is probably better, but I think I want that little gap. Like you can see that light there. I just because if we do this, we lose all the silhouette and it becomes a triangle. Um, actually, what is this? Is her hair? Yeah, that's her hair. Okay, that looks about right. I wonder if I can connect these pixels and still have it read right. Not really. I think that looks about right. So now you're noticing there's some issues with this, like the scarf. Like you can't. And this might be an issue, a situation where would I just want to outline her arm so that you can tell it's her arm? I haven't made these outline decisions yet, but like you could really like hard outline it, and then you have a much clearer idea that that's her front arm, and then here you could do like a lesser outline here. I mean, I'm not, these aren't the colors I would use, but something like that would help for that animation reading better. For now though, I'll just leave it. Like I tend to leave the outlines as like a last decision to make. Um okay. And then the bow, we have it in the reference, obviously there's like a bit of perspective going on that we kind of want to emulate. Um either here or here looks good to me. Noting we're going to have her other arm coming out from like right here up to here. So would it look better longer or shorter? I think this, I don't want it touching her head like that. And I think this is too far out. So let's try. No, maybe I'll try it out like this first. Okay, left arm is going to be here. Actually, first let's erase her arm out of her body. That pixel is still there. I don't know what it is, but it's there. All right, left arm. Use this color here. So we have this. This is almost straight across. Like this is basically straight across, but it's a little bit lower. I think we just want it to be lower to create a little bit more motion. So I'll start it like right there. And then I'll do her hand, which is she's wearing these like gloves or whatever. Do I have a left hand somewhere? I do not somehow. Okay. So left hand is basically going to be on top, I think. And so we can do, she's wearing gloves. So we'll do like, and this just wants to be in the middle. It's going to be bigger because it's in the foreground. And then we'll do like that. And we can do a thumb maybe. Just imply the thumb. That doesn't look right. Whatever, that's close enough. I mean, like, obviously that doesn't look quite right, but the thing is, you kind of have to mess around with it. And we have to do the arm still. So once the arm comes in, who knows? But the arm is going to be like lower like this. And then we have some foreshortening. That doesn't look good. Yeah, it needs to be closer. So and this is like, these are the kind of problems you can run into in pixel art a lot of the time, where it's like, I need the arm to look right, but I also really don't want the bow on her head. I don't want that. But you'll notice, like, I think probably a good solution would be to make her body, like, I made her body get really thin when I deleted the arm, which is probably a mistake. So I can make her body come out more. You can see like the breast would be here too. So like I can do like something like that maybe. It doesn't look quite right. Maybe like that. Okay. Yeah. It's too high. It needs to go down. I remember I said I made it higher to create more motion or whatever, but that's not worth it. But now if we lower it, whoops, if we lower it, it's touching her head again. So I have to take it over in one. You know, the other thing I could consider doing is just do that to get some extra space. That's fine. Yeah, that actually looks better, I think. This is touching her body now, which I don't like, but let's see what we can do. Left arm. Why is this not? Dude, I drew that on the wrong layer, it looks like. Oh, it's the hand. Okay, I'll keep it all together. It's fine. I think this is still too high. So I can lower the bow now, but then again, we're getting into this. That's okay. I think that looks reasonable. So, okay. But yeah, this arm, we want to try to get. I guess the other thing I can do is like, you'll notice her hand is way up here, but then her arm is down there because of the perspective. Because we basically want something where it's only at a small, like that kind of thing. I think the other issue here is that I haven't really rotated her body at all. You'll notice that, like, if her body was rotated more, the thing is, if I rotate her body more, the bow is actually even further onto her face because it would come around more. And again, I'm not super concerned about like perfect anatomical accuracy here. I just want it to look good. Just as long as it reads good, it's good. What if I do that? I don't feel like I can actually get her arm down that low in any reasonable. There's no like argument for her arm starting down there. It just won't look right. This is close though. Like that looks about right. Um and maybe what I can do is like, as I as she goes to pull the string further, I could make the arm go more straight. And then that will get it a little further off her body. Um Maybe I can run this up one. Okay, well, let's try that. So this is one keyframe. So we go like that, that. Why is the bow there now? All right, let's just delete that. I shouldn't delete it, but it's in the wrong spot. Oh, it's because I moved the whole layer, that's why. All right, so like this looks reasonable, looks pretty good. But what I want now is like we need some kind of foot motion happening. And so what I'm leaning toward is like a very small motion of the foot, and having her go back a little bit, I think would look good. And when I say small motion, like I'm talking, I want to get rid of this shadow, by the way. I think it's on the body still. Yeah. Like obviously the shadow looks good, but we're not. Bro. We're not at the point where I don't want to have to draw the shadow every frame. Because it just makes it hard to tell what's happening. Like, is that her foot? Is that the shadow? No, it's her. Yeah, see, now you can see her feet motion better or whatever. All right. What layer it's on. Okay. Yeah. Also the background. We should just. Okay. Let's get rid of that other extra bow hanging out there. We don't need that right now. Okay. So the string is back. My goodness, man. Whatever. We'll worry about that later. Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna have and like actually the main trick with this animation is like I want there to be a big feeling when she actually fires. So what I'm leaning toward having happen, it's going to be like a very kind of slow, where she kind of, and she's going to attack pretty fast, so it can't be that slow. But like the frames are mostly going to be that, and then when she lets go, there's going to be like her hair and her scarf are going to move to imply like something happened. I don't want it just to feel like a really limp, like little I shot an arrow out, whatever. So okay. Let's just mess with the foot. I think moving the foot will help a lot. Right foot, left foot, right leg, right leg. So I'm gonna do like I'm gonna just try doing that. There's you don't need to redraw it unless you need to redraw it. Uh, just like a subtle movement here. I'm not convinced I need to mess with the right foot, right leg, but it might look what? Okay, I mean the left leg. I can't keep track of these. All right. Well, like if I just do that, maybe like she's going into a more wide stance. Um, and then if I just move her, no, not the background. Okay, if I move everything except the background, I'm just nervous that moved something else. I don't think it did. Okay. I did move my reference line, which I didn't really want to do. I'll move that back. I don't think I need that reference line a whole lot, but it's just one of those things like you don't want stuff wiggling around. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. So yeah, that looks good. I like, and actually I didn't even mean to do this, but specifically having the foot not move and everything else move, that looks good. That's exactly what I wanted without knowing that I actually was trying to do that. Okay. So and I should have started with the like the biggest keyframe, but I think what I'm going to do now is make another frame where like she pulls the string even further. And so this arm is going to go down a bit. All this arm is going to go down to straighten out more. I'm actually going to make this go forward a little bit. And if I can sell it, I'm going to make the bow like buckle a little bit from the string being pulled on it. And then this leg will go like more straight. Even though we established that's not how an archer fires, I don't care. I just want it to look cool. Okay. So, and we'll draw the string in later. Like obviously there are some issues with the string, but really there's so much shit on the screen, you're barely gonna notice the string in general. Did I just fucking slid that thing around again? Okay. God damn it, man. Okay. Sometimes Aseprite drives me crazy. Okay, there we go. So we'll do a new frame. And we'll start with, let's start with the left arm, I guess. Or the left hand. So I'm going to move that down and out. This would also just go down, I guess. Sure. The bow is obviously going to move, so we might have to, yeah, we have, this can probably still be up then. This part of the arm, I mean. Oops. Like that. Well, that doesn't work. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I just need to move it down even more. Like it just needs to be a full straightening. Yeah, that looks better. And honestly, I would say to move it out one more pixel, but I think her arm will look ridiculously long if I do that. Um, let's try that bow buckling. We'll just do like that. That doesn't look right. Not at all. It's so funny with pixel art. Sometimes you're like, yeah, I'll do it like that, and then it's like, no. I do think it needs to go out too, though. Let's just try that. Like I don't have enough to work with if it doesn't go out too. Um, and actually it should go down as well because of the rotation. But again, like moving her hand out this much feels kind of crazy. Especially if it's just all straight. There's like not enough motion happening or something. Let's attempt to move like a few of them up, maybe like that. See that just is too much motion now. Maybe not. It's like the thing is like with all the other stuff moving, it might end up looking okay. I think it's just one of these principles, like you don't actually want to draw a bunch of attention to the arm specifically. That's just not what matters right there. Let's just try that for now. Um, so for the bow now, we can, I think the way it would have to be is like this goes down. This, Jesus, all right. This goes like over and down. And then this goes like straight over like that. That looks almost right, especially I'm going to cover my hand on there to not look at the bottom to see if that's right. Mm, I think if I move this pixel, it's going to be too much, but I'm going to try it. God damn it. Can anything just like work here? It's like, you want to move a pixel? Fuck you. Yeah, just, no, you can't move it. Okay. Like, seriously, why can't I move that pixel? Okay. I have to use the arrow key. All right. See, that just looks like too much, right? Yeah. What if I delete the corner here? No. Yeah, it doesn't work. I think this was about optimal. I'll try it on this other, on the other end. What did I do? I went. I think, you know what I might need to do is like shift. There really, you need to imply like it, the whole bow would be stretching. It's not just like the edges. So maybe you really just have to redraw the whole thing to show that tension. And then you get this mess of like like how now I'm showing so much movement that it looks kind of weird, I think. I'm kind of leaning toward just not doing that at all. It's like a cool idea maybe, but I think ultimately like it's not necessary, and it becomes when you're animating, you know, you have like if a thing moves, your eye catches it, and your eye can, it depends how much other stuff you're moving. Like I'll have to see what it looks like when I finish the other parts of this frame, because like right now this is all that's moving, so you're noticing it a ton. But if I change this as well, it's going to split your attention between different things happening. So we'll see how it looks when I do the other arm. uh, so I wanted to bring this pretty much straight, not quite straight but close to it, and then this is going to actually go back. Yeah. See what I mean? Like you can see, you can feel the really big difference in like the split attention here, where and this not moving feels a little bit off to me. I don't know why this is all green here. What is even happening? Yeah, look, so this should be her hair. I just, you know, that got lost. In fact, it's lost here too. It's when I drew up her why I know this is a lower layer, but what's on top of it? That, oh, is that's her hand. I'm so stupid. Okay. See, this is I did lose track of this though, so that is her hand. I need to move her hand. That's pretty important. Okay. Yeah, that's her hand. So her hand comes back. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that looks good. And you can kind of see now, like the fact that like trying to make the bow bend just doesn't feel like it matters anymore. Like maybe if I'm gonna have a charge up animation, it could make. I think just having the bow go back and forth would convey that better than actually changing the pixels on it. Okay, let's try to make her leg go back more. Hmm. I don't like that. I feel like the problem here is I don't know. Maybe it's okay. I haven't done the other foot yet. Like, oh, her body's not moving. That's actually a big issue. So, because we can't like you can't have her body move on the first frame and then it just suddenly stops moving. Okay. So let's do that. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna keep this foot planted. I think that is a good. That was the thing I accidentally discovered that ends up looking really good. Whoops, 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 whoops. So what did I do? I select everything except the background. And I move it back one. Let me get that. I'm just going to turn that reference line off. It's kind of annoying me. I don't think I'm going to need it for this animation. Okay. And then this foot, I just need to, that's the left foot. It's the leg, I guess. We're going to have it go like that. And we'll draw the motion. So one thing I can try, like, and again, this is specifically the stuff I said I didn't want to do at this stage of the animation because if I change my mind, it becomes a huge pain in the ass to do it again. But I'm gonna try it, where I just kind of move the dress a little bit to create some rotation. It's not enough rotation. Yeah, like I'm assuming this is going to be too much, but we'll try it. Not even. I mean, it's just that this is one of those times you probably would want to do like a sub pixel animation. It's a bit too much. Like yeah, they're going really going deep in the woods here when you start doing this shit. That needs to be there still. Yeah, okay. I think that really subtle movement is ideal on that. And then really like maybe moving this over, like have this be a darker pixel and then this comes over. Does that imply more rotation at all? I don't know. Not really. I don't think it's worth doing that. And this is specifically the type of stuff I was talking about, like when I was showing like Rotato and stuff, where it just doesn't matter. I do think like just having this whole strip jump over one is reasonable, is reasonable and maybe good. You barely notice it, but it just gives a little bit more movement. Maybe we don't want that pixel in general. I don't think we want that on like any of the frames, honestly. It's hard to say. I think it was covered by the bow, so I just had it there. Yeah, so I guess that's okay. And this video is long enough that I'm probably going to call it for now, but I am just kind of experimenting with what videos people will actually watch. I kind of hate the way the YouTube algorithms are now. I hate the way you kind of have to do certain videos or you just nobody watches your shit because it doesn't show your to anyone. But yeah, I think like this is reason I'm pretty happy with this so far. And what I would do from here is like probably duplicate this frame so that it's there a little bit longer. Um, and maybe on this frame do something like probably not, but you know, you could have some small thing change on this frame. But I think that the trick is just to show it holding, you know. But she's gonna fire very fast, so I'm like not convinced. I don't know how much I really need that like if she's just rapid firing over and over, which is what she's usually going to be doing, it's not like you're going to want to show her holding that for a long time in most cases. But if I had like 3 frames to work with, I might show the bow going a little, like moving a little bit as she, like, you know, she's aiming. It's like she pulls back and there's like that kind of motion and then she lets go. Um, but what I'm going to do is the let go, I think I'll draw her fingers coming out. So I'll just draw like some flesh pixels like this. And then I'm going to draw like a smear for the arrow coming out with like an arrow with like an arrows. By the way, there's I just I just realized there's no fucking arrow here. So probably like what I'll do is on this frame there will be like an arrow here coming like at this like, you know, 111 angle. And then here it will be straight and here it goes here, you know, it's further back. And then there will be a smear when she fires, and her scarf is going to go like way up. Her hair is going to go way up. Her skirt is going to move some. And then there will be like 2 or 3 frames of something happening with like the smear getting bigger, her scarf waving, and then she'll go right back to this frame, I think. So yeah. But I'll keep you posted. Maybe, maybe not. Talk to you later. Bye.